Hello, it's a lovely good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight. Handouts undermining participation of women and youths in politics. SNIFF tobacco, locally known as NSUNKO, on the rise among Zambian elderly women. A 26-year-old fisherman drowns in Lake Kariba while helping a colleague. In international news, death toll increases in Hawaii, devastating wildfires. And in sports news, FARS resolves for playoff to settle BUILDCON replacement.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello, another news in detail. Residents of Lusaka's Fumbelo area in Kabanana compound of Mandevu constituency have bemoaned the lack of access to quality treated and healthy water. One of the residents, Chelo Kachela, explains that residents have been surviving through water drilled from boreholes where they pay 1 kwacha per 20-litre bucket. Meanwhile, the residents have alleged that the area has remained underdeveloped because of unclear boundaries between Kabanana Ward 34 and Mpulungu Ward 26. But Area Councillor Chile Shemwango says an over 70,000 litres water tank has been put up to address the water crisis. More in the following report.
According to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 6 on clean water and sanitation for all, the goal aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all by 2030. The clock is ticking, but Fumbelo residents in Lusaka's Mandevu constituency lack access to clean and safe water. The residents of Fumbelo are worried that the area's population is growing and access to necessities such as water remains a pipeline dream to be realized. In the words of Audrey Hepburn, water is life and clean water means health, but these residents survive through untreated water from drilled boreholes.
When it comes to water, you have to pay. If there is no power, there is no access of water. All those are challenges that we have been facing. If the government or the councillor, we don't know, I don't even know the councillor from this side. Those are challenges that we have been having. So if there's a councillor who can come up and at least do 1 or 2. It just can't start now, but start with something.
Tidanda ulako government vuto challenge ameti mapezeka nayo ni nkhani ya manzi yativuta niyovutisa. So dandalo government uti itianganeko pankhani ya manzi.
Kulibe amene muona matanki yani amene bage tigula tilepera 50 ngwe yakukanga kuti ugulire manzi. Tilibe government kuno sina tipasepo manzi bwanji.
Kuno kwatu kulibe manzi ya kanso. Manzi timachitopempa kuti bali na maboho timagula chabe ma container 1 kwacha container imozi. Ero plus na matenda amene yamangalako covid chani vimafuna manzi yambiri. So manje se manzi timachitogula container imozi 1 kwacha.
And Mpulungu wa 26 Councillor Chile Shemwango says a water project has been completed awaiting distribution to the community.
The biggest challenge that we had here in Mpulungu wa 26 is pretty much the issue of water. Now this has come into fruition. Since this project has come into fruition, the water challenge now is a thing of the past. Is now currently we anticipate to save about more than 87,000 households within the ward. Now we've completed the project, and at this point we are just now doing the water distribution into the household communities.
While this is the status, residents believe unclear boundaries between Kabanana Ward 27 and Mpulungu Ward 26 have plunged them into underdevelopment, to which Kabanana Ward 27 Councillor Joseph Katongo confirms.
Speaking, that ward belongs to Councillor Mwangu, that side, yeah, that's how the map is. But people from there, they vote from my ward, but they don't belong in my ward. The boundary for Kabanana Ward, it's the tarmac, Kabanana Chazanga Road. For them to be helped out, I'm sure me have been working closely with Councillor Mwangu. If there is anything, I always tell him what is happening. if there is need for us to come together and work, we always do that. But the person who has got the final say on his ward is the area councillor for the ward.
Now, should residents of the area wait for 2026 for them to see development? Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Ministry of Health is worried at the rate women are abusing a tobacco substance locally known as NSUNKO. In an interview, Ministry of Health Acting Chief Non-Communicable Diseases Officer NSUNKO says NSUNKO has many health implications on women, citing it to be one of the contributing factors to diseases such as cancer. He notes that most women are abusing the substance by either applying it on their private parts or sniffing it. Meanwhile, in an exclusive interview with some women who use the substance, also known as SNIFF, the women claim that NSUNKO boosts their immune systems and that it is good for maintaining normal blood pressure.
Nikauka nichikapu cha manzi kali nilibe unga namasha nilibe niopimisa wanaongo nivuta tii zaisha sapati sunko ya mene akarioni hey muona monga ni boza.
This snuff kind of tobacco, locally known in Zambia as NSUNKO, has for a long time been preserved for the elderly women in society who use it as a purported cure for headache.
Paso hapa nilumvera mutulu zunguruka monga na mwamowa naomo wakaena junta ija yabele inkalubo mwapo lomba ifu akankapepa awe nzendo gona komati mashoka ku brain uku kapena ni mwamene machitira nuona pamene tipepa nda brain yonse iliwa nyosokonezeka umba that's why ni maendo gona umbanka gona mazulo kapena kuma 11 koloko basi nauka na mverako na power nuone pali poto ya nsima unga kulibe maja nchitebwa vana na watambuya njala nati ni peze kuti ndalama.
Now, it has become so popular among young women and girls, especially those of their sexually active age between 15 and 45, and its use is spreading like bushfire. The World Health Organization warns that snuff causes oral, esophageal, and pancreatic cancers. It is usually placed in the mouth between the lower lips and gum, with the belief that it tightens their private parts and assists to stimulate their sexual drive.
Manje sungo kaipepa. Kodi ngafundise tupi. Nanga pokukwatira unapepa NSUNKO. Awe. Iyo ni generation ya basikana chabeweka. Muntu mulungu mwamene anakupangira ni mwamene umo. Kulibe kuti uchiteso kuli ine kumbali yanga monga ati mwamene nafikira so sinionapo mwandini ninkani yawo chabe kosa mvera kwao. That's why vile tana problem manje mmatupi yao. Muona makansa, muona vamene matenda amene ambiri amene yabwera mtupi y'abantu. Chifuka chapa amene vamene bachita palasta tia ibamulowa.
Despite these threats to health, the rate at which women and girls are buying and using it is alarming. The Ministry of Health, through the Acting Chief Non-Communicable Disease Officer NSUNKO, says NSUNKO has many health implications for women.
The body absorbs the chemicals through the blood, so it can cause diseases of the blood, and it can also cause diseases of the heart, the kidneys, and it can affect many parts of the body. So we would actually advise our people that use any form of tobacco product, be it the NSUNKO, be it the smoked tobacco or any products, to quit. And for those that have not even initiated, we advise them not to start.
With these side effects, a public health policy advocate says it is unfortunate that some people are still using NSUNKO and other so-called sexual enhancing substances, largely due to ignorance.
But that is a misconception, and I think that is the information that needs to go out. You know, there are a lot of people, especially the young people, who believe that vaping is not smoking. Vaping is not tobacco, and that's what the industry wants them to believe. Smoking shisha is not a problem, but these are all tobacco products.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Luena area member of Parliament Mubita Anakoka has challenged farmers in his constituency to practice crop diversification if they are to survive the effects of climate change. In an exclusive interview with Camnet News, Mr. Anakoka says agricultural diversification is key to achieving social and economic development of any given country. He observes that diversifying agriculture production has the potential to increase the availability, affordability and accessibility to diverse and nutritious food. Here's a report.
Zambia's food system is not delivering enough affordable nutritious food for most of its population. The country's dependence on maize greatly contributes to the problem of poverty, malnutrition, vulnerability to drought, pests and diseases. The Luena constituency area member of parliament says this is a wake-up call for farmers, especially those in his constituency, to think beyond maize and focus on food and nutrition security as well as income security. He has challenged farmers to practice crop diversification if they are to survive effects of climate change.
So putting Western Province on the e-voucher system, because that enables people to have a wider choice in terms of what they can get through FISIP. What I would apply to our people, especially the beneficiaries of FISIP this year, is that please let's engage our agricultural camp officers so that we can get advice on which crops we should venture into in which areas, because the soil suitability and conditions in various places are not the same. And therefore, sometimes we force one crop into an area where the yield isn't so good.
The lawmakers further urged farmers to embrace the agriculture diversification program the government is promoting by growing a variety of crops other than maize. He says this is key to achieving social and economic development of any given country.
We should become adventurous enough in order to try that which will give us the maximum yield. The opportunities that FISIP is providing is one that we should take advantage of now, because the people that are on FISIP now will not remain on FISIP forever, and we expect them to graduate at some point. So far, people have stagnated and basically become permanent members and beneficiaries for more years than the system was actually designed to accommodate. So I would like to appeal to us to embrace crop diversification, because crop diversification improves economic viability. Let's not only grow food because this is what we eat. Let's grow food because there are other people that demand that food, and we will be able to sell it and get some economic value out of our efforts.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Social scientist Innocent Kolala has charged that the commercialization of politics is not only undermining the participation of women and youths in politics, but the country's democracy as a whole. Speaking with Camnet News, Mr. Kolala observes that modern politics has become more about money than ideas. He says the trend tends to create an environment where people are voted for based on the handouts they give out and not their ability to effectively represent the people. And Deputy Government Chief Whip Princess Kasune says women participation in governance is still poor, thus underlining the necessity to put in place deliberate measures to change the status quo. Details in the following report.
Zambian politics are not child's play, and over the years, money has been among determining factors to be elected as councillor, member of parliament and presidential level, including during intra-party adoptions. And the 2021 general elections demonstrated that, apart from the will of the people to determine who carries the day, money also has a larger say. And an initial assessment that was conducted by Transparency International Zambia TIZ prior to the August 12, 2021 general election reviewed that in June, the Patriotic Front spent 6.05 million kwacha on campaign billboards across the country, followed by the Socialist Party at 2.26 million kwacha and the United Party for National Development UPND at 1.31 million kwacha. But that is just a small component of the costs. And what about feeding the food soldiers, the purchasing of t-shirts and chitenge materials, as well as associated printing costs? And in all this, vulnerable groups such as persons with cross-cutting disabilities, women and youths are sent out of the equation. And Government Chief Whip Princess Kasune notes that more must be done to improve women participation in politics.
Participation of women in parliament, we have now dropped to 15%. Okay, when we are trying to fight for the 50-50 gender representation, so this has to be underscored. And as they say, numbers do not what? Do not lie. It's the same even at local level where they have councillors. Worse off where you have chairmen, the mayors and the council chairmen. So that means we have a problem. We need to realize that we are coming from a background of highly patriarchal society. So whether you know it or not, some of it we even do it unsubconsciously, that women are just seen to say they can support other parliamentarians, but they themselves cannot be seen.
Meanwhile, social scientist Innocent Kolala says the commercialization of politics is undermining women and youth participation in politics.
It has led most intellectual individuals who have what it takes to become a leader of a ward, a leader of a constituency, neither of a district nor the country, failing to ascend to such positions. Why? Because the corruption, the rampant corruption, which has given now the people, the few individuals, power now to start now commercializing politics. This time around, we have seen now youths and women have just been turned into the vuvuzelas. They are just now dancers, dancing now for these corrupt individuals, most corrupt individuals, for these tycoons who wants to take up powers. Having money does not mean that a person has got knowledge in terms of running the country or in terms of running the constituency, the ward, the district. Not at all.
He has also advised electorates not to vote based on material things candidates provide, but seek to vote for people of substance and good leadership qualities.
And even ourselves, the voters, at times you are to blame because we have accepted to be used by these selfish politicians, by these selfish individuals who just wants to use us as riders or to use us as ladders for them to reach where they want to reach. And moreover, at times we might not even know the source of the income, the same money which they are dishing out. Maybe it could have been a loan which they got. Immediately they take up authority or power. What do you expect them to do? What you expect them to do is not to be coming to see you there. Why? Because now they have to work extra hard in ensuring that they retain such resources from where they got from.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Citizens First party leader Harry Kalaba has charged that it was careless for the local authority to demolish the structures of Kasompe residents who built on the airstrip land belonging to the Civil Aviation Authority without compensating them. Last year, the Chingola Council demolished over 300 structures illegally built on the Kasompe airstrip, a land on title and belonging to the Zambia Aviation Authority. Chingola Council has said it did not allocate the land and that structures were erected without planning permission from the local authority, hence prompting the demolition. But Mr. Kalaba, who spent time at Kasompe airstrip in Chingola to appreciate the challenges the people whose houses were demolished are facing, is disappointed that government did not compensate the affected residents.
It's fine. Ah oui. Agafu kulimwana londo mpaka kampeka sompa kwa dawa tuje kuna mwene nji mwene abantu bayikala kwa sompa but bulanda sana because abantu bayitemene for kukora mayanda they were given this by the council and then you go and demolish and you don't even give them compensation premium. That's not the way. I think imbapo yonali kansela ngatabatobere kange kula tuko chabale ndira kwa abantu atukwete so mama ba president so ABB program uwa kushaka some page me
takwai na ngumo oba toberepo na ngukunjikata mama and I just to help the people I'm like that's the truth.
The Human Rights Commission has underscored the need for capacity building of various players on the newly introduced Child Code Act. Commission spokesperson Mwelwa Mulea says capacity building is key towards ensuring effective implementation of the law aimed at safeguarding the rights of children in the country. Speaking with Camnet News, Mr. Mulea says there is a need to make sure that the provisions of the Child Code Act are fully enforced. He adds that issues such as those affecting child offenders must be well attended to.
The enactment of the Children's Code Act definitely is a landmark development towards enhancing the protection of the rights of the children. It has brought together different pieces of legislation which have streamlined the manner in which the rights of the children are supposed to be promoted and protected. However, we still need to do a lot in terms of providing capacities amongst various players. We also need to have adequate facilities. We need, for instance, safe places, reformatory, schools. We cannot have, as a country, continue having only Katombora Reformatory School. The whole country, we need to have many of such. Possibly in every province, we must have a reformatory school for these children who find themselves in conflict or in contact with the law. We need also so many approved schools. At the moment, we just have the Nakambara and the Sakwe in Ndola. So we need to have all these facilities. We need to build the capacities of the social welfare department, because it's very critical when it comes to addressing the rights of children, that there should be close linkages between law enforcement officers and the social welfare department, because children should not be arrested, interrogated or interviewed without the presence of someone from social welfare.
Iteji area member of Parliament Twambo Mutinta has called on government to be on the drive to modernize most rural areas through construction of high-rise buildings, which is a phenomenon in the rural areas. In an exclusive interview, Mr. Mutinta says the idea is to enable citizens to get the service which they are not accessing in the rural areas, adding that this will also decongest most of the towns because people would get what they need from those rural areas. He has since urged his fellow parliamentarians to always put up modern structures each time they undertake construction projects in their respective constituencies.
Thank you. So basically in the investment of CDF, especially in the rural areas, I think the President has also been very clear that there's need to modernize the infrastructure that we are putting up in the rural areas. This is time for equity, and this is also the time for equality, when the infrastructure that is found in the rural areas should be the same infrastructure that is found in the urban areas. This time around, there are a lot of innovation around the solar, there are a lot of innovations around the water, particularly on issues around the provision of water and sanitary facilities. I think it's high time that most of these communities in the rural areas, they should have flushable toilets. Flushable toilets are generally highly hygiene in nature as compared to the pit latrines. And also you find that if we invest in the flushable toilets, it shall also have the disability inclusion facilities. As you may be aware, also as a result of this CDF, there's a lot of support that has gone to the children with disabilities in terms of also constructing facilities that supports their education. So if we modernize our facilities, we will also ensure that even the flushable toilets, they should also have a provision for the children with disability, and that is a kind of modernity that we would want to encourage everyone to ensure that they embrace, so that the rural areas, they should be equal to the urban areas, and the children that are in the rural areas are not different from the children that are in the urban areas. So this also goes even to the infrastructure in the health sectors, the infrastructure in agriculture.
A non-governmental organization focused on safeguarding the climate and environment has disagreed with government's intention to rehabilitate Chunga landfill. Keeper Zambia Foundation Executive Director Ezra Banda charges that rehabilitating the landfill, unlike sourcing for technologies that support recycling, is a missed priority in safeguarding the environment. Mr. Banda reiterates that rehabilitating the Chunga landfill is not sustainable as waste will continue to pile up due to increased population. On Wednesday, the 9th of August 2023, government released 33 million kwacha for the rehabilitation of Chunga landfill, which includes construction of inner access roads, drainage systems, boundary wall, and buying of equipment. Here's a report.
A bitter aroma socializes with the cool breeze as one approaches the Chunga landfill, a stark reminder of the magnitude of waste that is being generated. Piles of plastic, metal, and organic matter stretches out like jagged hills against the horizon, a silent reminder of the impact of modern lifestyle on the environment. Yet amidst this sea of discarded goods, a glimmer of hope shines as government on Wednesday, 9th August 2023, released 33 million kwacha for the rehabilitation of Chunga landfill and buying of equipment. The rehabilitation encompasses the construction of inner access roads, drainage systems, and the boundary wall. While such efforts are not just about managing waste, but reimagining waste as a resource waiting to be harnessed, Keeper Zambia Foundation says government should have focused on procuring new technologies that promote sustainable waste management through recycling. Foundation Executive Director Ezra Banda believes currently the landfill is no longer mitigating the environmental disaster.
To me, talking about infrastructure is not the best. I think we should have emphasized on the technologies which should now increase the uptake in terms of recycling. So that we start getting a lot of that into a safe hands. Because that's why now when you go around there, you realize that from somebody who is not knowledgeable might be thinking that the people there always they are burning some things at the site. Well, it is to the contrary. That is methane. Because of decomposition. So that fire is just generating there because of the waste is not used to the level where we anticipate it to be.
Mr. Banda says Chunga landfill is a beacon to rethink human relationship with the objects being discarded, to recognize that every bottle, every piece of paper carries a potential for renewal, a chance to be reborn into something meaningful, unlike focusing on infrastructure development.
At the current moment, when you look at that site, to a certain extent also now is contributing to environmental disaster than mitigating. Because I think the parameters upon which it was designed are not adhered to. In terms of generation of garbage, it's quite very high, and about 80% of what is generated is domestic refuse. And we need to make sure that one is recycled, because the aim is that every waste needs to be recycled and made use of. And we can do that. They can do the biomass arrangement.
Mr. Banda adds that government missed an opportunity to create sustainable waste management to the benefit of everyone at the landfill, citing that it has grown its lifespan.
That this is a missed opportunity of trying to put the money across, to put up a warehouse for who? Because what we needed is just to up the technologies so that those scavengers, they are tried to be helped and to do what is right and increase the aspect of recycling.
The true worth of Chunga landfill does not lie merely in the heaps of waste. It lies in the lessons it teaches citizens about responsibility, innovation, and the potential for change that can paint a new narrative of resourcefulness, resilience, and a commitment to safeguarding the planet for generations to come. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia, SAWU's General Secretary Makai has advised government to desist from giving civil servants money in the credit facility under FISP, as announced by President Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. Makai is of the view that civil servants might channel the money to settling their personal debt in an event government decides to extend the credit facility to them, because the majority of them are highly indebted. Meanwhile, Mr. Makai has commended the United Party for National Development administration for the gesture, and is optimistic that once the program kicks in, it will strengthened measures rather. the lives of civil servants will improve.
Civil servants. What we want to urge those who implement it is that they should not give our civil servants money, because we know a lot of our civil servants are highly indebted, and as such, if you give them money, they might redirect that money to other need areas of their families. But they should be given the inputs themselves. If it is fertilizer, if it is seed, if it is goats, if it is cattle, let them be given those inputs themselves instead of being given money. That way they will be helped a lot. There's a lot of land in Zambia, and therefore immediately you are employed, one of the first things you should plan to have is land, because we all know that land appreciates. So for those who do not have pieces of land and may have access to the NAPSA package or may have accepted their terminal benefits, our humble advice to them is that can they quickly access pieces of land so that when this initiative will be implemented, they will be able to benefit from this initiative and they will be able to help this country reduce poverty. Government owes a lot of workers in this country personal emoluments, leave travel benefits, and so when you are paid any of these amounts which the government owes you as a civil servant, the best thing you can do is please plan for a piece of land if you have not gotten any piece of land. If you have, when this credit facility kicks in, please go ahead and start cultivating, start keeping cattle, start keeping goats, start cultivating maize, so that in the long run, we too become suppliers of these initiatives which will be supported by everybody, every citizen in this country.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a break. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The Zambia National Union of Teachers is optimistic that government will increase the budgetary allocation to the education sector in order to make significant gains towards steering quality education. Union General Secretary Isaac Ngoma has commended the UPND administration for showing political will to improve the education sector through various developmental projects. Mr. Ngoma says this has been demonstrated through the utilization of the Constituency Development Fund CDF in the construction of classroom blocks and the provision of desks.
The commitment so far is exciting. What is exciting about this commitment is that it is coming from the highest office in the land. The Republican president himself has made a declaration that by the end of December this year, we shouldn't have a child sitting on the floor. And I think that commitment is something that the structures at lower levels needs to implement, and we've also seen the disbursement of this funding. On our part, what we are saying at the moment, when you talk about expansion of classroom space and everything else, is that we are lobbying now for an increase in the budgetary allocation to the education sector, especially that we have seen the restructuring and we are told that there are going to be savings. We hope that some of these savings can go towards, scaling up the allocation. We all know that this year government allocated 13.9% of the budget to the education sector, and what is recommended globally is 20%. So if it goes to 20%, it will take care of a lot of needs. It will take care of expanding school establishment where we have most of our people not being confirmed because the schools are gazetted, but there are no positions there. They are not actually funded. So we hope we can have funding going to some of those positions that are not yet funded by Treasury Authority. So basically, it's about increasing the funding to the education sector.
A 26-year-old carpenter fisherman of Kapunga village in Manchamvu Lake Shore from Shimamba Chiefdom in Siavonga district has drowned on Lake Kariba. Lazarus Kapunga is said to have gone to help his colleague whose carpenter fishing net got stuck in a tree on the water but failed to make it out of the water. According to Munyama Ward Councillor Special Malaziki, the deceased was promised a certain amount of money to go down the water without diving facilities and remove the net where it was stuck by his friend when he met his fate around mid-morning yesterday. The body has not yet been found, but the Zambia Marine Police and Special Forces from the Zambia Army are in the area currently searching for the body on the lake, which is suspected to have gone more than 30 meters deep.
Yesterday around 10 hours, and the incident happened when a certain carpenter fishing rig whose net was stuck underwater. So they requested him to go and dive to remove that net where it was stuck. So he went down without wearing any oxygen facility. So he went down for the first time, and when he came out, he said, "Oh, I've managed to see the net, but let me rest a bit. Then when I go for the second time, I should go with a rope so that I tie to that rim holding that net." So after a few minutes, he went down again. So he went and tied to that rim which was holding that net, and unfortunately he couldn't come out. So after a long time, those owners of that rig, when they saw that the person is not coming out, they went to the harbor and notified the owners of that company. So that's how the incident happened, and quickly we were informed around somewhere 16. We notified the police, and also the Zambia Army was engaged, and early this morning around 05 we moved on.
We'll take a second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. And now in international news, people in the Hawaiian resort town hit by a shocking inferno have expressed anger as the death toll from the wildfires rose to 93, making it officially the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than 100 years. Officials say the death toll might go up as search teams continue examining through the ruins of Lahaina town located in Maui Island. The latest figure exceeded the 85 people who perished in a 2018 fire in the town of Paradise, California, and was the highest death toll from a wildfire since 1918, when the Cloquet fire in Minnesota and Wisconsin killed 453 people. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
This is the house of Mohamed Zaki Maklouf, a 62-year-old Egyptian retiree in the province of Fayoum. Maklouf has recently accepted the offer to have a locally manufactured solar water heater installed on his rooftop. I did not think twice when the company's representative approached me. I told them they could come and install it. There is no harm in doing such a thing, neither to me nor to others. Maklouf heads an 11-member household in an Egyptian village. For the first time, his family may have access to a direct source of hot water. Shamsina's team arrived in Maklouf's house to carry out the mission. In the winter, I eat up water 3 or 4 times a day. My mother-in-law has feet issues, so every time she washes before prayers, she needs hot water. And she needs hot water 5 times a day. I also eat up water to bathe my children every other day.
When we first noticed this problem, we became very curious about how common it is, and we dug up national data, and we found that about half of households across Egypt are estimated to use manual methods for heating water.
Shamsina, which is incubated at Harvard Innovation Labs, has so far piloted 30 water heaters in different low-income neighborhoods across Egypt. Solar water heaters will not be able to take up a significant market share in Egypt. They can take up no more than 30% of the market. Hence, they cannot save up a lot of energy or reduce a lot of emissions. However, they can guarantee some form of empowerment. With solar water heaters, we will be able to provide access to hot water in places that never had this privilege, and that is very important.
هيقدر يوصل يمكن حصة سوقية في حدود 30%، ده يعني بصورة مبدئية، وبالتالي مش هيقدر يدينا وفر كبير في الطاقة أو وفر كبير في انبعاثات الكربونية. بس على الجانب الآخر هيدينا حاجة اسمها تمكن. يعني إيه تمكن؟ يعني هقدر أوصل بمياه ساخنة في أماكن ما كنتش بقدر.
For Egypt to reach its Vision 2030, the country's government has embarked on policies aimed at utilizing its renewable energy resources. Eshraka Musa runs a small stall where she sells tea, a very popular drink in Sudan's Wat Madani. Without it, she says, she wouldn't be able to provide 1 meal a day for her children. The war has caused a lot of damage. We left our houses, properties and everything that we had, and it's now a tragedy. I came here and bought this cart to make tea so I can afford to live. Now if I pay for breakfast, I can't afford to buy my children lunch as well. Before the war, Michelle Elia Musa worked as a primary school teacher. Now this mother of one spends her days behind her small stall. I also had great dreams, but I've lost hope and no longer understand anything. Even my ambitions to be a great teacher are gone, and now I am here in the market cooking food. I am sad and embarrassed, but this is war. And things have also changed for Ali Saif at Khartoum's Faculty of Environmental Engineering. This engineer and his family have taken refuge in Wad Madani. He's not received a salary since March.
دخلت القوات سكنت في المنازل حقتنا.
The forces seized our homes and our salaries were delayed. All government salaries were delayed. As they say, suffering creates creativity. So the idea of making soap arose. There is a shortage of soap in the market amid high demands, while there are a few goods on offer. The bloody war between rival generals in Sudan has put many Sudanese out of work. Without an income for months now, some have resorted to creative means to support themselves and their families. The war enters its 4th month on August 15.
In our sports news tonight, the Football Association of Zambia FAS Executive Committee has resolved to seal the vacant spot left by demoted BUILDCON in the National Division 1 League by settling it through a playoff. FAS General Secretary Ruben Kamanga says the Executive Committee has decided that Chipata United will battle with Livingstone Pirates, who were the best placed sides among the relegated teams during the national playoffs. Mr. Kamanga believes everything is in place for the kickoff of the 2023-2024 MTN Super League season this weekend. BUILDCON was demoted to the Copperbelt Provincial League following multiple breaches of FIFA and FAS statutes around player transfers and payments. To end Camnet Television News, the top stories once again. Handouts undermining participation of women and youths in politics. SNIFF tobacco, locally known as NSUNKO, on the rise among Zambian elderly women. A 26-year-old fisherman drowns in Lake Kariba while helping a colleague. In international news, death toll increases in Hawaii, devastating wildfires. And in sports news, FAS resolves for playoff to settle BUILDCON replacement. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 14. Remind them of these things, charging them before God not to fight about words. This is in no way profitable and leads to the ruin of the hearers. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.